Today, something pretty massive happened in crypto, but I don't know how I feel about it. Let me explain. In the Grayscale versus SEC suit, the SEC tried to deny Grayscale Bitcoin's ETF by saying, well, it shouldn't be allowed for a reason. And the judge said, well, your reason is kind of like arbitrary, doesn't really make sense. The SEC had until last night to appeal. They didn't decide to do so. But now all of a sudden, people are putting up the question, do we really want Bitcoin spot ETFs in our ballpark, in our field? Because the fact that the SEC did not decide to appeal means Grayscale is going to file another request for a Bitcoin ETF, and the SEC is going to have to think of a new reason to deny it. But at some point, they run out of ideas, right? Because they tried to deny it first, and now they can't think of another good reason, which is why they didn't appeal. Point being, Bitcoin spot ETFs are now closer than ever, and it's getting quite scary. We always theorize about it, right? Oh, it's going to happen this, then, this, then. All of a sudden, analysts are saying that Bitcoin spot ETFs are coming this year still. They're going to be here in a couple of months. And again, it's going to open up the institutional floodgates into crypto. But is that what we want? Because think about it. This means that institutions now have an easy way in, but it also means that in theory, a lot of institutions are going to be massive holders of this asset that was meant to be peer-to-peer money. Now, I'm not going to even start talking about the Ethereum and XRP ETFs in this video. I'm just quickly putting up here, is this what we want? I mean, 𝗕𝗓𝗪 had an interesting way to describe it. He said, you'll probably make a frick ton of money soon, and I hope you do, but whatever remained pure and true about Bitcoin will soon be gone. Someone tell me how to feel about this, as again, the US SEC will not be appealing. And another question is, how high will the prices go? Because, well, if we all expect it to happen, and these analysts are so sure it's about to happen soon, how much will the price pump? At the end of the day, all it's doing is opening up the floodgates, but all of us know it's eventually going to happen. So who's going to be there to buy Bitcoin the moment that it does get allowed? Because again, if we're all anticipating it's going to be allowed soon, why then buy it the moment that it happens when you can also buy right now knowing it's going to happen? Why not just buy the rumors, sell the news instead of only buying the news? Then again, my counterpoint is we don't really know exactly why Bitcoin was made. You've got a story that's written down there, right, by Satoshi, and we can believe his vision, but we don't know if it was meant to make one person rich, a group rich, if it was truly meant to be the people's money, or any motive for that matter, right? I mean, you at the end of the day never really know somebody's true intentions, and I believe this to the core. Bitcoin could have been one government agency development purely to make you even poorer. It could. Now, I'm not going to try to say that that's really the reason. I'm just saying it could be, and I want you guys to really clearly realize that. Which brings up the question, shouldn't we just be in it to make more money? In a sense of, let's not talk about the theory of, hey, is this good for crypto? Is that because these institutions can buy in anyway? It's just a little bit easier through an ETF, but it doesn't change that much for the possibilities. Most people could already buy it if they wanted to. Most institutions could already buy it if they wanted to. It just becomes easier now. But an entity like BlackRock could have already bought up so much of it in theory and just never let go anymore. I mean, they could already. I mean, they've got a good share in MicroStrategy because they don't really want to buy too direct. Kind of like to keep it a little bit hidden for right now, but they could. But that's one of the reasons, honestly, why I like cryptos like XRP a lot more. The vision is a little bit more easy to understand from a current financial system perspective. This currency was created for this and that purpose, instead of being like, well, somebody made it with a real honorable, noble thought, and he's got all these billions, but he might be dead, or he's waiting for some reason and he left for some reason. It's just more of a trust, even though it's a trustless system. And again, I love the idea, but still, from some perspectives, if we're talking about ETFs, I prefer them for Ethereum or mostly even XRP because it just makes a little bit more sense. Then again, I do think they'll come soon. An XRP ETF is probably not that far out. We've just read many reports that said a lot of companies were waiting for Ripple to win this case, and the case is not officially over just quite yet because you've still got Brad and Chris Larsen in the case. But once that's all gone and over with, most likely the bull run will hit at the same time. Or perhaps the bull run hits right now, the moment the ETFs get approved, which again could still happen within a month or two. I've already said to you guys, the bull run officially has probably already started. It's just that we've not gotten to that like bullish half of the equation just quite yet. I mean, the bull market obviously starts the moment you've hit your lowest point. And I think we hit that a year ago, even though I do still believe the new high points will still be more than a year out from now. I do believe the upward swing at least has started. Like I said, I think ETFs will come for Ethereum and XRP rather soon, as there are going to be these parties, right? The moment a Bitcoin spot ETF is approved, they just want to make money on these fees, right? They just want to make money. They don't care. They understand the liquidity of these assets. They understand the demand, especially XRP and Ethereum makes sense. Ethereum because it's the second biggest. XRP because, well, the purpose is to be in this financial system so much, and it's such a huge asset. Something like BNB, for example, it doesn't make sense to make an ETF out of it just quite yet, but XRP from every perspective makes sense. I want to hear one funny, interesting thing. It's that I have these conversations so often with people that ask me, hey, is it a wise idea to buy crypto now? And the only thing I can always think in my head is, how can you not understand the value proposition with cryptocurrencies? And how can you truly not grasp the idea that this will most likely only keep getting bigger because people are losing trust in this traditional system? And why can't you understand a token or coin like XRP? You can't understand the value just from listening to the talk about what it is or what it does. How can you not think that this is going to keep doing better? When I talk to people and they ask me a price prediction, I always tell them, just go check it out for yourself. But I really want to tell them, like, well, if it doesn't hit $20 in like a year or two, I'd probably break my own shins because it doesn't make sense. Everything I've thought about this world is wrong then. It just makes too much sense in my head. The same thing for a new Bitcoin all-time high. I can't grasp a world where Bitcoin does not hit a new all-time high in the next 5 years. Why am I saying 5? I think it's going to be a year, maybe a year and a half. But I'm just saying 5 to be extremely broad. Maybe there's a new plan, a new order has come in to make sure Bitcoin stays suppressed for another year or two. Institutions buy in heavy, they control the whole space, and then take off. But it's going to inevitably happen. There might be, deviances or whatever the name is, like strange curves around the cycle we've known for a while. But the general direction for cryptocurrencies are upwards. It just makes too much sense. Sam Altman, Joe Rogan, all these guys have been discussing it for a while. Not just, the actual technology behind it too much, because a lot of these guys don't fully understand, but the value proposition of money that nobody really controls. It's no government can step in and say, hey, they can't. And I understand some people trust their government so much, they're like, hey, let's just use whatever currency they design, keep it. But once you really take another hour or 3 to dive into what the banking system really is built on, and the fact that all the fundamentals have left the chat, and the fact that all it is just more and more debt in a system that is then you start to understand why cryptocurrencies even came into existence, and why really just allocating a part of your portfolio is not stupid. I'm not sure why I'm telling you guys this. I'm assuming 100% of you guys watching this are already into crypto, and I don't have to tell you this, but I just want you guys to realize that I think a massive shift is about to happen soon, where so many more retail are going to step in because they've understood then they're a little bit late to the party, as BlackRock and all these guys have opened the floodgates for ETFs, and now they're going to be just some casual, normal buyers that are buying in because, again, there's a new wave of hype in the bull run. But the bull run is very near the bull run that we've seen multiple times throughout the last couple of years. It's so near, actually, that I'm telling you to not step away from crypto right now. It's like the hardest point right now. We're at the most painful point in perhaps crypto's existence, where you don't want to give up because, well, crypto's already gotten this far. But you do want to give up because, well, prices are now still high. It's not dead, but every number is down. Exchange volumes are down. Investments in every sector are down. Updates are down. Revenues are down all across the board. Everything is just down. Hope is down. People think the bull run is never going to come back. And that's exactly the moment where you've got to hang on the tightest. Because the most beautiful things are always besides the darkest. And again, the most crucial part there is that these most beautiful things, in a strange fashion, usually grow in the dark. I mean, if we're talking about the bull run, you can't have a bull run without a bear run first. You can't have crazy gains without crazy losses in this instance. So my little warning or little update for today is, if you thought about giving up, just understand what's about to happen very soon. And soon can be a couple years, sure, but is that really bad? Is that really something that should deter you? Is that really something that should make you give up? If you knew you were on the verge of winning the lottery, Would you then just throw away your ticket? No, you probably just, I don't know exactly what you should do, but not a financial advisor. All I'm saying is, from every perspective, it just makes sense to go harder now than ever before. We've had the biggest pain points in terms of price. The lowest point has already probably been seen. Right now is the biggest pain point in terms of investor confidence. But I, for the most part, think that's a manipulated effort. I mean, once you really start looking into it, from every perspective, it makes sense for them to install fear into your heads. I mean, otherwise, how could Gary Gensler still be on top of the game, right? If fear was not their game. I still think they're soon going to be either arrested, jailed, or some crazy is going to happen. Some big whistleblower is going to come out and say, hey, all these guys knew about all these connections for a long time, but they didn't act on it for this and that reason. I still believe in the good of some investigators. Perhaps it's never going to happen, though, because they're all eating from the same pie. Perhaps it will. All I'll tell you is, it's a crazy world, but don't give up. And hopefully, see you guys again in another crypto video somewhere later today.